and
Joke that the
Hello, everyone. I'm Ben Johnson, and this is the Perpetual Chess Podcast. On Perpetual Chess, I have weekly conversations with the chess world's best players, promoters, and educators about their lives, careers, current projects, and best practices. Perpetual Chess is brought to you through the generosity of its Patreon and PayPal supporters. For more information, go to perpetualchesspod.com. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Perpetual Chess. We have a much-anticipated guest this week. He gets mentioned nearly every week on the show in some context. He is a well-known trainer of Sam Shankland and many other secret top players. He's a prolific and acclaimed author. He, of course, is a grandmaster and a chess player. He's been the British champion and the Scottish chess champion. He's trained Olympiad teams, and he is the co-founder of Quality Chess Publishing. And he, right here, right now, is going to set the record straight on how I should be pronouncing his name. So I've been saying Jakob Aagaard, but your actual name is, sir?
Jakob Aagaard.
Jakob Aagaard. How was that?
Was close.
Okay, I will accept. Well, thank you.
You forgot two things in your introduction,
okay.
not because I'm not flattered already, but I'm also been what we together call half a coach for Boris Gelfand since 2009. And of course now I'm recently was convicted as chairman of the FIDE's Trainers Commission.
Okay, yeah, the FIDE's Trainers Commission was in my notes, but I actually didn't know how formal your relationship with GM Gelfand was. So was that? Would you say that's your biggest distinction?
Well, someone almost becoming world champion is worth including on your CV.
Yes, that's a valid point. So. Thanks for joining us. We have so much to talk about, and you mentioned in an email that you're excited to help people improve on their chess, which obviously, who could be more qualified than you to do that? And listeners will get
lots of people.
You're too modest. So listeners will get to that, and of course there'll be timestamps in the show description. But I mean, I think everything that Mr. Aagaard, how'd I do?
Better.
Okay. We'll have to say will be of interest, but I want to start with your publishing house, Quality Chess. You, along with GM John Shaw and I am Ari Ziegler, founded it, I believe, in 2003.
2004.
2004.
First of April, not to be too modest about it.
No,
it's an April joke that we haven't really gotten over yet.
Well, it's a joke that the chess world is grateful for. So many quality books, and in addition to your own books, of course, the other books, many of your other authors in your stable have had their books recommended here on this show. So you mentioned in Thinking Inside the Box, your most recent book, although I know you've got other projects in the works, that you had the idea for Quality Chess in 2003. So what was your initial idea for this company?
Well, it's as with many things, there was a lot of things that collided at the same time. I was already at this point starting to work on what became the attacking manual, and I was not happy to give it to Everyman, who I was working for at the time. And actually I was producing about 35% of their catalog, either as an author or as an editor. And I felt that the final product was not what I wanted. Everyone have their own philosophy behind their business, and I had, many great years with Everyman. I was there working for them for 5-6 years, and I have no ill feeling towards them. They were really, really nice when we worked together, and they were really nice when I decided to do my own thing. And we still have a very good relationship with them, and at times we exchange opinions on distribution, stuff like that. All of the legal stuff. We never coordinate prices or anything like this, which you're not allowed to. But I felt I wanted to do my own thing, and also I had realized that writing chess books was not something that I did to fund playing chess tournaments anymore. It had become, I was playing chess tournaments, so I had something to write about when I was doing chess books. And I realized if I wanted to actually pursue doing this, not because it was a choice, but more because, life forced me down this direction, I wanted to do it really well. And to do it really well meant to do it the way I wanted to do, so I wanted to have control. So based on the setup of Gambit, of 3 people with different talents working together, we created Quality Chess. And for 4 years, there were 3 of us. And from then on, there was 2, and later on some employees.
And when you thought of doing it, did you think of your co-founders right away as potential partners in crime?
I thought of Ari quite quickly, yes. And at the time, it was the right decision. And John was suggested to me by a mutual friend in Scotland, Donald Holmes, who's... I'm in Scotland because I knew Donald and came to visit him, and eventually I never went home. And he mentioned John to me, and I had known John since 96, 97, where we played 2 games. But beyond that, we hadn't. I don't think we'd met each other since then. So early 2004, I flew to Scotland. Organizing where I would stay, and met up with John at Central Station and had tea for an hour, and he decided to join the project, and then I went home the next day to Denmark, and then 3 months later I moved to Scotland. I think for both John and myself, it was one of the great gifts of life to be able to work together, and he's been the most supportive person in my life the last 15 years for sure, and maybe in my life overall. So I cannot say enough good things about him. And what most people don't know about Quality Chess is that John is the boss. And we are 50-50 partners, but you cannot have things that are undecided all the time. And in the end, the person with power will make the decisions. And I decided, since I do a lot of other things, that it had to be John. And for the last 5-6 years, he's been the boss. And he does that quite well, I think. And that's how it all came about.
Yeah, quality. He does do it quite well based on the product that you guys are putting out. I mean, every book is well presented, and I do feel like you guys, along with 1 or 2 other companies, have raised the bar of what's possible with chess books. So, do you mind going into a little more detail about what you had in mind, what you envisioned when you wanted to start your own company? Was there something specific other than, I'm sure, some editorial issues in terms of controlling the content? Was there anything else in particular that you wanted to change about the way that the books were published?
No, not in terms of how books were published. For me, it was about what is the objective. And for most chess publishers, and I hope I'm not insulting anyone here, but for most of them, making a profit is a very high priority, or maybe the number 1 priority. Of course, it's a necessity, but there are some people some publishers who will publish books which they don't like, and start projects which they have no enjoyment from, simply because they think it will make money. And I will not say that we haven't tried to do that. We have tried to do it exactly once. And after that, we decided that that's not how we want to live our lives. So we have a different philosophy, which is we're trying to do something that it doesn't already exist. And people are asking always, can you really write that many books about chess? And the answer is obviously yes. I think we constantly find things that haven't been done very well or are simply missing in the market, things that can be done much better. And the idea was in the name, which actually I have to say the name comes from my thoughts and observation about a political party in Denmark, which is very, very right-wing, who, like all nationalists, call themselves by the country. So it's the Danish People's Party. And it was always felt to me like, why would the other parties accept that someone would, wrap themselves in the flag like this? Why would they refer to them in this way? But they just did. So I thought, okay, in that case, we'll be quality chess books, because if people refer to us, they will say we're good while they talk about us. I know it's cheap, but it works.
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys have backed it up, so that helps.
Oh yeah, that was the plan as well.
Yeah. So when you have the idea, you'd already had some experience writing books, probably doing some editing, but how much experience did the three of you have in terms of everything else that goes into creating a publishing house?
Well, Ari had a chess book shop, and John had written 2 books, and also he's got a degree in economics. John started out being the editor, Ari was the businessman, and I was producing stuff and proofreading and some other things. And once Ari left, I took over the business side and also took over the layout. And I thank you for your nice comment about how books are presented. I still do the layout on the books, and most of the cover ideas come from me, even though we work with artists. I'm not saying the other guys are not contributing with a lot of things as well, but I'm doing a lot of the visual stuff.
And how much do you enjoy that aspect of your work as compared to all of the chess training and writing that you do?
It's lovely. It's so stressless. I'm at the moment I'm typesetting a book by Kortov in our classics series, and I'm watching, or I have to say, rewatching Altered Carbon on Netflix at the same time. I have a 2-screen setup in my office, and that gives me a chance to sit and doing simple decisions, just fiddling with things, and at the same time as sort of following it out of the corner of my eye.
What was it that you said you're watching on Netflix?
Altered Carbon.
I'm not familiar with that. What is it?
It's a sci-fi series, many hundred of years into the future, and it's probably the best thing we've seen on Netflix the last few years.
Wow, that's high praise.
Yeah, well, there's also a lot of junk there, but that, and there was the German series Dark, which we quite enjoyed as well. It's subtitled, of course. I can't really remember what it was, but the ones with the kids investigating who had drawn dicks on all the cars in the high school, I really loved that one. and it of course it was stupid and silly and so on. It was a mockumentary, but it was actually really well constructed as well. I haven't seen the sequel with who poisoned the food so everyone ruined their trousers yet. I'm saving that for a moment when I can really concentrate.
Nice. Yeah, unfortunately I'm not qualified to go down the science fiction rabbit hole with you, but I did see that John Hartman, who reviews books, friend of the podcast who reviews books for Chess Life, in one of his reviews he mentioned that Thinking Inside the Box had a subtle nod to Doctor Who. So since we're on the subject, could you explain that, since it's over my head and probably some other people's as well?
Okay, so the thing with Doctor Who is that he travels around in a TARDIS. I cannot tell you what the individual letters means. It's not some with time and something, and people will crucify me for it, but never mind. And somehow it's malfunctioned at some point because it can change to any shape, but it's malfunctioned and now has permanently the shape of a 1950s English police box. But it's much bigger on the inside. So there's that. But the only thing of the thing inside the box, the only reason why there's a Doctor Who reference to that is that while I was finishing the book on Facebook, you get these things, like if your birthday's in August, all heroes are born in August, or all this nonsense stuff. And that actually came up at Doctor Who one. It's bigger on the inside, thinking inside the box.
Ah, okay.
And I just had to get it.
Nice.
But no, thinking inside the box comes from a Jordan's Muesli commercial, because they changed the wrapping for their muesli, but what they was thinking, it's more important was inside the box. And there was a big banner of that in Glasgow, thinking inside the box. And I was just like, that's exactly what I want to talk about, because we have so many chess books and so much thinking about what is outside the box, the exceptions. People always talk about exceptions in chess. And we can go into a very deep discussion about why I think talking about exceptions doesn't make sense. But it will become very complicated and very self-observatory, if we can say that. But I thought, what's more important for me is let's talk about the box here. What is the box? For me, the box is a toolbox. What are the tools in the box? Let's make sure we have all the tools. And then, if you can operate your tools and so on, then you can make art later and you can violate the convention and so on. But do you know them first? Because chess is not an art form. First and foremost, the people who come to me, they don't want to be artists. The artists, I'm chasing them like Johan Effeck, which we had very recently publish a book for us, which I've been chasing for 10 years to write this book.
Yeah, but people have been raving about it. I haven't gotten a chance to check it out yet, but
it's that one and the Game Changer book, which I'm sure you're going to talk to these guys, Sattler and
in a few days.
In a few days, I think they should be the two running. The two books in the running for the book of the year. Next time some people sit down to.
Have you already had a chance to check out Game Changer at all?
No, I've ordered it, but it hasn't arrived.
Okay. Yeah, I've been on a accelerated schedule because I'll be talking to them shortly. But yeah, it's not disappointing so far, and it's 400 pages, so there's a lot in there.
Matthew is one of the most amazing people we have in chess, and everyone should be happy that he chose to write chess books.
Yeah, he's one of those.
Such a fabulous person.
Yeah, and he's one of those people who just I don't know how he does everything that he does.
Well, he's extremely smart.
Yeah, to say the least.
Yeah. So. Okay, so we're getting sidetracked. I feel.
Yeah, so thinking inside the box, and so what tools do you need in the toolbox?
Okay, so now let's go into that. There's 4 different types of decisions. Let's go into the big framework here. First, there's what I call automatic decisions. It's there is one move in the position, and you should make it. The second is what I call simple decisions. This is positions where there's not really anything to calculate, but you still have to make a move that improves your position. Then we have critical moments. This is positions where the difference between the best move and the second best move is quite considerable. And finally, we have strategic decisions, which are positions where it's not possible to calculate to the end, where there's many factors in play. And you have to combine positional evaluation with calculation. So let me go through why I have these 4. I have them, first of all, because I want them all to give us a hint of how should we approach the position. If it doesn't lead to an action, it doesn't have value for me. So first of all, with automatic decisions, there's only one move. Here I want to, we're probably going to talk about Viking C as well. So I want to go to the second round game. of Sam Shankland against Richard Rapport, and I would urge anyone listening to this to go to Chess24 and go Tata Steel Masters 2019. And then if you hover the mouse over Sam's name, you can find the games.
I'll put the game in the show description too.
Oh, but I'm going to jump to a lot of the games. So,
okay.
Hopefully. So if you go to move 73, there are other times as well in the position. Here we have 74, sorry it is. White plays knight f8. And when you have an automatic decision, it's like there's only one move. And here it feels like, and Sam just made h5 after 2 minutes and 21 seconds, and he still had a reasonable amount of time at this point. And okay, it's not entirely automatic, but still he's not considerably going deep of finding is there a difference between h6 and h5. In some positions, it looks like there's only one move, but our action should be candidate moves, looking at the position without calculating, without thinking something about it, simply looking for options. Is there really only one move? If our conclusion is yes, there's only one move, then our action should be playing it. If we say no, there's actually more than one move, and here in this position here, there's clearly a difference between h6 and h5 if you start thinking about it, because we see quite quickly, if we think in that direction, that the knight on f8 will find it much easier to attack the pawn on h5 than on h6. And in that reason, we see, okay, there's a real reason. We should go deeper and think about it. And then already it's not an automatic decision anymore. So that's just using an example from very recent game. And okay, so then we move on to simple decisions. That's in positions where there's nothing to calculate. But you still have to make moves, and a lot of the game is simple decisions. There's not really anything to calculate. There's nothing in the position you cannot see. There's no hidden options. There's no long variations that will guide you in any way. And about half of all chess players, I would guess, play chess simply by calculating, and a lot of them feel lost. And this is what I call the hammer. This comes from when I was working very briefly with Ganguly on this topic only. Ganguly at this point had already been Asian champion, top 100 player, he's second of Anand, and he didn't know how to play simple positions, how to approach them. He had no tools. He only had the hammer. He calculated amazingly well and was well prepared, and he was an extremely smart guy. But only the hammer. Therefore, thinking inside the box, we need another tool. And there I had already developed a method, which is the 3 questions. So the first one is, where are the weaknesses? Games are always decided on weak squares, weak pawns. Weak pawns are taken and we lose the end game. Weaknesses is where in your position is where the opponent crashes through. Weaknesses are always important. The second thing is what's the opponent's idea. This is what's called prophylaxis. There's nothing new about this. You should know what your opponent is up to. Even if you don't want to stop what he's doing, you still want to be flexible towards it. So you have a possibility to react to various things. If you have 2 moves you're considering and one of them has flexibility about what your opponent might be doing and the other one doesn't, then you have a way to make a choice already. The third one is, which is my worst placed piece? Well, if one of your pieces isn't playing, if it doesn't have a function, that's not very good. You're not making the most out of your position. And we're talking about simple decisions here. There's nothing to calculate. It's one move might be a little better than another. We just have to make a lot of them during the game and quite quickly often. And these parameters are a decent way to make decisions. And it falls under a very important rule, which is I can only remember 3 things.
Right.
I cannot do four things. Like I always tell, if I have a tennis instruction lesson or if I have a guitar instruction lesson, like receiving them, not giving, I always say to the trainer, the coach, and so on, never give me more than three ideas. I cannot remember more than three ideas. But you could add things like what type of position is it? What is good about my position? Should I play dynamically or should I play statically? There's another good question which Grandmaster Suneberg Hansen from Denmark sometimes told me, in some conversation about a player. He says, "Oh, he never asked himself, how could I lose this game?" which is a great question.
Yeah, it is.
No, even when you're better, it's just know, how would I ever lose this game? How could things go really, really royally wrong? And so there are other questions. I actually sat down and made a list of 12, 13 questions and eventually ended up with these three. And my reason for making questions is that we're very good at finding answers, but finding the questions is really the difficult thing. So I wanted the questions to always be the same. So I found that the pieces, the opponent, and the weaknesses are the three most important universally things. It doesn't mean that all three questions will give you gold in every position, but usually 2 out of 3 will be very meaningful and will help you to see things you didn't see before, see ideas you didn't see before. And this sounds very simple and something like you would use with kids. And I do use it with kids. I'm asking kids in the school chess club, which piece isn't playing? Why isn't it playing? You should make all the pieces play before you attack. Like simple thing.
Good morning, Rotten Lemons. Good morning, Ezrin. I was letting at some moment when I got up here just a few minutes before, I decided to let Jakob Ogard's idea play out. Good morning, Mikadet. How are you? Where are you from, Mikadet? Mickey Dequette. It is crazy. Slovenia. Have we had this conversation before? I apologize. I was just mentioning how I probably know Serbia because of Belgrade. Let me go back and see if I can get one game. I was just watching Kingslayer Sloan doing really well in general. I think he's doing really well. Until now, perhaps. But he has to get all of his pieces in the game. I know he doesn't really want that knight in the game, right? He's going to play with just the pieces that he has. Oh, he got the knight in the game. Oh no, he might gain some rating points. Most players get a few pieces out and they want to start playing the game. It might be a respectable hour over there indeed. Erikito, good morning. Speaking of not so respectable hours, Ezrin and Erikito are west of me, I believe. Good morning, MD Knight. How are you? Oh, I haven't fixed my MooBot statement. I'm glad you reminded me before I go back. Let me do that real quick. I have to tighten it up. There we go. tightening everything up here in the legends. Legends. I need one more character or two out of this command. Or perhaps I should just take a couple out. But Rubenho was my first 10K donation, so I don't think I can take him out, honestly. Instead, all right, did I get it? Let's find out. One moment. You are up late or you are up early? I prefer to be up early. You know what? Rather than saying gift sub donations, it speaks for itself at the top. I'm just going to say massive. I like the word massive from Bill Nye as he used it in About Time, one of my favorite movies of all time. I should say one of my favorite rom-coms. All right, one more time for the legends. Let's see how that one looks. Massive donations, be it gift subs or otherwise. I'm very thankful to both Pegasus and MD Night Zero. Let's go back to the tournament. We might have time for one game myself. Yesterday I was getting just a smidgen of grief from my co-teacher as I edged on almost, or at least being concerned about, being late for class in the afternoon. But I was earlier than the other teachers, so, and I was on time, at least. You did have him on the ropes. You just didn't develop your kingside knight and rook, Rogan. You spotted him 8 points of material for most of the game. You at least had your rook sort of in the game on the H-file. But the knight on, I mean, if you want to spot me a knight, don't move the knight on G1, or you can choose not, you can give me the queenside knight, no problem. I don't mind at all. Many young players spot their opponents and they don't realize it. Oh no! So what am I going to do about this? What am I going to do about this? Yeah, let's see what he's got. With the knight on F3, let's see what you've got. Bonsai. Good morning, Charlotte. How are you? I haven't talked to you in so long. Craziness. Yeah? Craziness. I miss you, kiddo. I don't know. It feels like a lot more than 2 days. Let's give him a quick checkup to see if he's willing to go into an endgame like this. One of us having a good bishop. One of us not. I am still insisting upon the endgame, by the way. And now for something completely irrelevant. I would have loved to have played, can I march up? I think I can just march up. I'm marching on the march again. Sooner or later, that bishop on b5 has to be left in the lurch. No! You did really well spotting your opponent, all of that material. Can I go this way? I really do want to play bishop to h3. But he has the very simple move. f3, and it looks like everything I own is hanging, doesn't it? Doesn't it look like everything I own is hanging after f3? Let's see here, bishop h3. Jack with it. Oh, wow. That's a very serious threat. Hey, cut that out. Block that kick. Let's see if we can give him a little bit of a thrill here. For the most part. Where are you going, sir? Oh, that's very cool. I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. Let's keep him cemented in, though. I must keep you cemented in. And now, a word from our brief. I would like to win this piece sponsor. 2 pieces for a rook coming up. Oh, it's not that bad. 'Tis not that bad. I don't blame you, though. Yeah, okay. I was waiting for someone to say something, Erikito. This board setup or the layout? Because I can choose. This one is no different from translucent. I just like the fact that this one illustrates how cool Lichess is. Is there an equivalent board to this one or this layout? Your opening is good. Is there an equivalent layout on cheese.com, Erikito? What do you think? It's just the background over the pieces. All right, let's try one more. Hold on. Erikito's working with me here. I'll be right back. So there's a translucent board, and then there's an overlay board, which has the pieces very clear. Now this one, on the other hand, MD night. Woot, woot. Woot, woot. Dojo. I just happen to like that emblem in the background to a certain extent. You're right. Do I need to choose a different background that's more stable, like just stars perhaps? On this one you can't see the squares. I agree, Lauren. On this one you can't see the squares. Let me just go to the other one. On the other one I could see the squares. The translucent, I could see the squares. 1 second. So I kind of like those. I could go back to the normal one, but I would like that dojo in the distance. Hold on. Where's translucent? So this one is the one I normally play with, Lauren. I just love every customizable feature about Lichess. I have complete control over everything. But you're right. I will return to the ICC. I will return to the ICC. Yeah, that board is easier to see, Lauren. I know. That's why I usually use that one. Eric Keto. But it's just a different approach, right? So Charlotte didn't like the translucent board, or did you not like the... Can I change the tramps on the chessboard? I'm not sure which ones you mean. All right, if Charlotte doesn't like the transparent or translucent board, it's out. It's done. It's done. I must run to school. It is time for me to run to school, unfortunately. You like the opaque? Which one is that? This one is okay? Piece set cardinal. Hold on, I'm checking. Pegasus likes the transparent layer. Wow. That's crazy. I do too. I like the see-through board a little bit. This is the best. Okay. I just want to see the board theme maple. I only have on the Lichess enhancement. Third file for, yeah, okay. 1 second here. I will go to that one. I was using Lichess enhancement. But I will humor everybody for just one moment. Just to see Lauren's, where's Maple? That's Marble. Mickey DeCat, thank you. Great training today. Did you finish in first? Hold the phone. Let me just go back to the event. Mickey DeCat, clear second place. Congratulations. Second file, fifth from the top. All right. Let's do it. So we're going to do piece set. Cardinal was second file, fifth from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's very cute. At least the pieces are smaller. I agree that the pieces are smaller. And then board theme, fourth from the bottom. Cardinal is third file, fourth, I'm sorry, second file, fifth from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. And then the piece set is Fourth from the bottom. Ah. I know why I don't do this one for the most part. Oh. Lee chest enhancement is still on. That is nice. The only thing, this one is very good. I'll tell you why I don't mind these pieces as much. I don't mind these pieces because they don't occupy the entire square. So many of the pieces occupy the entire square that you can't see the squares. Yeah, this one does sort of remind me of a real board. I'm just thinking that, and these pawns are actually quite good. I will leave this piece set. Absolutely. But I'm also leaving Charlotte's. Only because I'm using the lead chess enhancements. I want to thank everyone here for joining the dojo. Please follow if you have something to say about the piece set. I still kind of prefer the translucent. Even though translucent was a very, very, very bad guy. He was a very, very, very bad guy in The Boys. If you've not yet seen The Boys, definitely check out the dojo. Please follow me on my socials. So yeah, I was actually early to the chess class yesterday when I left the stream. The other chess teacher was skirting the edge of lateness, as usual. And my favorite administrator, of course, was the rock in the whole situation. So she was there. Not a big worry. Strong, right? But I know she is concerned about my streaming causing me to be late. So I offered her half of my income. I offered her 75 cents an hour. I'd probably make, at most, $1.50 an hour doing this. Even with the massive donations, which I do appreciate, I make about $1.50 an hour because I put a lot of hours in. That doesn't even count a lot of the hours that I spend thinking about and doing a lot of prep work sometimes too, but it's definitely less than $1.50 an hour, but I do it because I love you guys. That's the most important thing. So Charlotte, Chessable.com, please. Follow me on Chessable. Whisper me your name. We will get you to work on some materials, all right? Pretty please. I mentioned that you should have a study plan in order to become better. You can also message me, but I prefer you to whisper me. This applies to everybody. We have a study plan. We're going to set up rating categories and study plans based on rating categories. And that way, everyone can get their work in. I just became a legend. I reached the legend rank on Chessable, so I'm pseudo-celebrating, if you can believe it. Pseudo-celebrating. Quite crazy, yeah? Legend. 10 million points. And for the first time in my life, I've repurchased a book that I already owned. Which is quite crazy. And we have a massive shortage of streamers online. Let me just give a shout out to Logic, L0. Logic, strong. Logic should check out Audubon's 1B3 repertoire for Chessable. I believe that he has the greatest, according to him, chessable repertoire ever produced. And that's taking it straight from his own words. The Tennyson Gambit and the Traxler attack. That's crazy. Running up the list here. There's no one streaming today. What, is everybody sleeping in? All right. Please enjoy the great Shrambini. Unless I can find another one. Deco. Should we actually do Why So Serious? We've got one tennis player and we've got another tennis player. Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's it. Chop to chop. Chess.com. I'll give Chop to Chop the raid next time. Anyway, everyone, have a great day. Talk to you soon. Ciao. Cheers.
Then here?
Hey! Thank you for the raid. Master Chess Doyo. Thank you so much